Some big time breaking news into the wrestling world right now. Hi, everyone. I'm Omer from Real Take Sports, and we've got some big news. Roman Reigns was originally scheduled to face Brock Lesnar in the main event of tonight's WWE Day 1 pay-per-view. That is not happening anymore, as WWE have revealed that Roman Reigns has tested positive. Yes, tested positive for COVID-19. He is out for the pay-per-view tonight. He is out, obviously, indefinitely. We don't know when he tested positive. We don't know when this happened, but it's changed everything in the grand scheme of things in such a late hour. Welcome to Cincy in the chat. Welcome to everyone. Again, Roman Reigns out for tonight's main event against Brock Lesnar. That has been canceled. They have replaced it with a new match, or the same match that they were going to have, but now a new order. And now, instead, the main event of tonight's show will be a fatal five-way. Brock Lesnar originally slated, to take on Roman Reigns, test positive for COVID-19. Roman's out. Now Brock Lesnar going to be going in to face Big E, Kevin Owens, Lashley, and Seth Rollins in a fatal five-way match. Yes, a fatal five-way match for the WWE Championship. Obviously, this is coming off the heels of Seth Rollins testing positive previously. This is coming off the heels of us in our society as a whole just having so many people test positive, and rates of the pandemic have just been skyrocketing. And it is groundbreaking in a sense. Obviously, first and foremost, Roman Reigns is someone we know is immunocompromised. Roman Reigns is someone who we know they've gone to special lengths to try to keep him from getting this. They've gone to special lengths to try to keep him from having this happen. But it is just the world we live in now. And I mean, again, this is just happening. Again, WWE just tweeted this out that no, Roman Reigns is gone. He's tested positive. He's obviously going to be quarantining now. We don't know if there's any close contacts or anything like that. No one's reported on anything like that, but this has obviously thrown a monkey wrench, the biggest monkey wrench of all in this WWE Day 1 card. And look, they put Brock Lesnar in this match, I'm assuming, obviously, as a make good because of Roman Reigns' status not going to be there. This has caused a lot of people to speculate whether or not Brock might win this match. This has caused many people to speculate that Brock perhaps could walk away from WWE Day 1 as the new WWE champion. And to that, I have to say, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because we know one thing. There's this old trope in wrestling, this old unwritten rule in wrestling, that usually when there's a change in the card on the day of, or like very recently leading up to the card, there's going to be a title changing hands. That's a very old traditional wrestling trope that has happened. Vince McMahon, he say what you want about him, he doesn't run a professional wrestling company. He is grounded in some traditional aspects of pro wrestling. We saw this earlier in the year when we all knew Sasha Banks was not going to be at WWE SummerSlam, right? But they built that up, and then the last-minute replacement ended up being who? Becky Lynch, who won that match. Becky Lynch. There's dozens of other examples throughout its past. So, again, this has made things interesting. A WWE Championship match that before the night was not interesting is suddenly made interesting because of an unfortunate situation. Again, I want to be very clear. Roman Reigns, someone who's immunocompromised, someone who has tried very hard not to get this pandemic, not to get this virus, I should say, testing positive. He is now out of tonight's main event matchup, or the originally scheduled main event matchup, against Brock Lesnar. Lesnar now inserted into the WWE Championship match. So it's going to be, again, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, against Big E for the WWE Championship. An insane late change. Again, I don't know, and I don't think anyone at this point knows whether or not this is something that WWE knew going into today. I don't know whether this is something WWE knew going into the week. There obviously wasn't a SmackDown on Friday, so we didn't get to see Roman interact with anyone. Interesting note, he was pulled from house shows as a precaution. We were told, allegedly, as a precaution. We don't know whether or not these are related, but Roman Reigns out. Brock Lesnar's him and Brock Lesnar's match canceled. Brock Lesnar now in the other WWE Championship match. Insane couple of minutes here in professional wrestling. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick, and then we'll kind of just talk about this a little more. Since he edits in the chat says, "Rip WWE Day One." I don't know. It's made things interesting here. Since he says, "Bruh, Brock Lesnar's in a fatal 4-way. What the hell?" No, Lara says, Please let the final two be the finish of the match. Lashley versus Lesnar. That's a match that people have been waiting and speculating on for years. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe we'll see a glimpse of it tonight. Since he continues in the chat saying Brock should win because why not? That's the wrestling trope. Why not? Since he also says, well, either Lashley or Lesnar is winning the Fatal 5-Way. You know the deal. Welcome, you know the deal. Says WWE will pull out all the stops except for expect crazy stuff. You should expect some insanity anyway. I think they were gonna try to pull out a lot of stops for this matchup or for this pay-per-view specifically. I think with this late monkey wrench thrown into things, it's only going to exacerbate that, and they're only going to go even more in that whole craziness and unexpected route. Since he also says the Fatal 5-Way actually seems 10 times more interesting than Roman versus Brock. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people were saying that we wanted to see what would happen, honestly. There were a lot of people who were saying, we've seen Roman versus Brock a million times now. The only way this would be interesting is if they were building it up for Roman to actually beat Brock at WrestleMania for once. But maybe that's where they were going. We don't know now. We'll never know what would have happened if Roman versus Brock happened at WWE Day 1, what the story would have been. We might get glimpses of it from now on, but at least not for the next few days, as Roman Reigns, again, testing positive. He is out of the main event. Brock Lesnar, his and Brock Lesnar's match canceled. Brock Lesnar now in a WWE Championship match in a Fatal 5-Way, as you can see on the screen. Crazy stuff, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We are doing still a WWE Day 1 stream. A watch-along stream later on today. So, Cincy, turn on your notifications for that. It will start or somewhere around 8, maybe a little before 8 p.m. I just wanted to quickly get this info out there because it is big-time news in wrestling, and it's just caused one of the biggest changes to a wrestling card, or one of the most, I guess, most prominent sudden changes to a wrestling card we've seen in a very, very, very long time. Again, I'm still looking over stuff to see what's going on, if we can find out more information. Sean Ross Sapp did tweet about about an hour ago saying we could expect some changes. I'm assuming these are the changes we expected. It is going to be crazy to say the least. So if you guys have any more questions, Chucky Doll says, I'm watching first season of NXT. Crazy. And Chucky Doll says, first of all, why isn't Sasha Banks have a match tonight? Shitty booking. If you want me to be blunt about it, shitty booking. That's why. But you know what? Maybe because look, that's the other critique I had, and I was going to talk about it on the stream. The fact that there was only one women's match going into this event, and granted, it was a great women's match. Look, the match that honestly encapsulated is the wrong word. The match that honestly I was most interested in going into this pay-per-view was Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan, because I believe Liv Morgan right now is, it's her time. It's her time. The crowd's behind her. She's doing the best work of her career. She's going up and going toe-to-toe with Becky Lynch. I think this is the perfect time to get someone new over. And Liv Morgan, someone who's been working very hard for that. So that's what I was interested in. That being said, it's the only women's match on this card. And in a company where you have Sasha Banks, in a company where you have Bianca Belair, in a company where you have Naomi, Natalya, all of these great performers who are world-class performers, you could argue that people, and you couldn't even argue, you should say that Sasha Banks is probably one of the best all-around performers in ring there is. You can definitely say that Bianca Belair, it's her time. She's the EST, arguably the BEST of WWE. So the fact that they can only find space for one women's match on this card, I complain about it when AEW does it. I will complain about it when WWE does it as well. It's shitty booking. Book better. And right now, if there's anyone I trust to go out there and just have a banger match, you don't even need to have a storyline about it. You could put Sasha Banks in there. You could do Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks right now. No build needed. Nothing. It would take up just as much time as the Lesnar-Roman match and be way more compelling, and people would be into it. People would sign up for Peacock who don't have Peacock just to watch that match. Definitely. I promise you. It would bring eyeballs to your freaking product. So right now, WWE, please, obviously barring any COVID tragedy or whatever, please, you could do it right now. You could send them out. These are two people who probably don't need too much time to lay out a match. I promise you, like, if there's anyone I trust being a ring general out there, one of those people is Sasha Banks. I definitely trust Sasha Banks to go out there and do a great job being a in-ring general. So you could send them out there and do a make good for SummerSlam, which ended with a Becky Lynch return. Love Becky Lynch, but my God, you ruined Sasha Banks, or Bianca Belair. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. We'll talk about that more on tonight's stream. But again, for those of you just joining, big news today: Roman Reigns has tested positive for COVID-19. He is out for tonight's event. He's in quarantine. Now what that means for the main event between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar canceled. Brock Lesnar has now been placed into the match for the WWE Championship. So it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley versus Big E for Big E's WWE Championship in a fatal 5-way. Again, one women's match. You could just give us Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, and it'll all work out. But again, thoughts and prayers with Roman Reigns. Obviously, he's immunocompromised. He battled cancer. We hope for the best for him. Hopefully, he beats this thing, and we don't have any complications. I know a lot of people who actually went through similar things with Roman and who have had unfortunate complications after having COVID. So I want to be very clear. I hope he's doing well. That should be, like, first and foremost WWE's concern with this. Go to the chat real quick. Since he will be at the Day 1 stream. By the way, everyone who's watching, we are doing a watch-along stream for tonight's WWE Day 1 pay-per-view, so if you want to be in tune for that, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Since he also says, where the hell has Sasha Banks been? The booking is terrible. I agree. Chucky Doll says, I'm so mad Tony Storm left WWE. WWE today is a horrible company. They do bad booking. Mr. says, don't want to be a stick, but the Universal title seems cursed. I don't know about cursed. It's just bad booking. It's bad booking, bad timing, and a lot of things. But yeah, since he says good luck, Roman. Yep, retweet. Good luck, Roman. Christian in the chat says, I'm mad because they won't have Roman versus Brock. Well, they can't have Roman versus Brock. Unfortunately, it's just. It's more than a liability. It's just a public health concern to have someone knowingly competing with COVID-19. Go Nolo says Brock versus Bobby Lashley is a dream match. Well, we're going to get a glimpse of it tonight. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of stare downs. Brock versus Rollins. They have a history. Brock versus Owens. That's an interesting match that I don't think a lot of people have talked about. That's a Kevin Owens' gimmick was that in 2017 was that he's a prize fighter, and a lot of people wanted to see that matchup between him and Brock for the Kevin Owens' WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship. We're going to get at least a little bit of stare down, or you would think these two are going to touch, and I'm excited to see what would happen between those two. But again, big news, Roman Reigns out of tonight's main event. Main event's canceled. Brock Lesnar now in a WWE Championship match in a fatal 5-way in the graphic, as you can see clearly to my right. My right? My left. Who cares? Huge MMA fan says, I'm excited about Brock and Lashley face-to-face. I hope Roman is okay. Absolutely. Chucky Doll says, what is worse, WWE or the virus? The virus, but winner is you. The jokes. Since he also says, good luck, Roman. Already read that. But yeah, guys, keep your questions coming. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do this because we do have a live stream watch along for the pay-per-view tonight. that I'm going to be doing. So hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. But as I'm refreshing to find out more about this, again, Roman Reigns out. He tested positive. We knew leading up to this, Seth Rollins did in fact test positive last week. So he was out for a few events, and then right as that happened, they pulled almost everyone in the main event scene, including Big E, including Lashley, including Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns as well, and Becky Lynch out of their live events, out of all of those types of things. They pulled them from live events. They pulled them from TV. Luckily, they didn't have SmackDown this week. But anyway, so they pulled them from TV as a precaution, we were told. But now we know Roman tested positive, even though that precaution happened. So leads people to believe that maybe this is something they knew going in. But I don't want to speculate too much on that. That's like, I don't want to do all of that. But yeah, it's unfortunate. And again, get well, Roman. That's like the big thing I want to be clear about. Get well, Roman. A huge MMA fan says, "Do you think Brock and Lashley face to face will get a huge pop?" It better. That's a match right there. Again, like the two face off I'm most excited to see. Actually, I'm excited to see basically any face off in this match other than Brock versus Rollins. Like, I know they have that history and it's gonna be cool regardless, but I'm really gonna mark out for the Brock and Kevin Owens face off. Because Kevin Owens, like, he's probably, like, I don't know how he managed to do it. Even though he's sometimes had really bad booking and all that stuff, he's managed to keep this aura about and this presence about his character that is still, like, legit and you know, and gets taken seriously. So him versus Brock is something that I've wanted to see for a long time. Obviously, Lashley versus Brock, that's just two of the strongest people in the company, like, going at it. But Big E versus Brock, just two big hunks of meat, like, fighting and pounding into each other. Make jokes about that if you must, but like it's just like it's compelling. It's compelling. What would be more compelling though would be for them to just put Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair on this pay-per-view. Just saying. But yeah, Chucky Doll says, "I hope Bobby Lashley wins." I mean, anything could happen now. Anything could happen, especially with Lesnar being in there. But I don't think Lesnar walks out with the title. I don't think they're going to do that because long-term plan for Lesnar is with Roman Reigns. Since he says Big E is probably going to lose the title, sadly, it's possible. It's more possible now than I think it was going in. Because now WWE has a reason to you know, do something unexpected, which is the MO of wrestling in general. Whenever there's a last-minute change to the card, especially a main event match, that's been the MO of pro wrestling in general. Huge MMA fan says, "Everyone in this match makes wrestling seem legit and should be a good one." I agree. As graphic change for no reason. Sorry about that. Yep. Rebecca in the chat says, "Just found your page. You seem cool." I am cool with a K. Thank you for that. Huge MMA fan says, oh, I already read that one. Cool. I'm just rereading stuff now. Go Nolo says they should hire us as bookers. They definitely should. I'd be a better booker than anyone on that writing team. I promise you. Lucas the Goat says, "Well, Roman will have to relinquish the title." No, he won't. No, they're not going to make Roman relinquish the title. It's like he'll be out for like a week, and then they'll do something. They actually might even do a thing on SmackDown with Brock or something. They'll do something, but he is not relinquishing the title. I want to be clear about that. Roman is not relinquishing the title. Roman Reigns is just going to probably be in quarantine for a week, and then he'll be back. He could, and if he tests negative, he could be back as soon as Friday on SmackDown. So that's just the nature of the world we're living in. Mohammed says, hello. Huge MMA fan says, Brock can 100% win this, though. It's 100% possible. It is 100% possible. I agree with that. It is 100% a possibility. The likelihood is not 100%, but it is 100% a possibility. I agree with that much. Again, huge news of that. as we're wrapping up here, because I don't want to go too long about this. There's not much more to really talk about. I will be doing a live stream again, a live stream watch along today, live tonight, starting around 8 p.m. for WWE Day 1. So we'll be doing that, having fun, watching some wrestling, and probably talking some crap, because that's what I do. But again, big news of the night, big news probably of the next few days out of WWE is that Roman Reigns has COVID-19, tested positive today, or tested positive. He's out for this match. And now Brock Lesnar being input into the WWE Championship match. So it will be Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley versus the WWE Champion Big E for the WWE title. And as Cincy says in the chat, anything is 100% possible in this match. Absolutely. Guys, I've been Omer for Real Take Sports. I will see you all 8 p.m. live right here on the YouTube channel. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. I'll see you at Day 1.